Hi, this is Masenya of Masenya Attorneys Incorporated, a law firm based in Centurion, Republic of South Africa. We boast 24 years of legal practice in the areas of commercial and tax laws. My professional team and I have over the years proved great success in assisting numerous clients with a myriad of commercial and tax matters involving millions of rands. We are skilled, experienced, qualified, and have the capacity to assist you. Email us at clients@cntlaw.co.za or call us 011-318-6592 or 084-383-7747. All consultations are strictly by appointment.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me right here in Solomon's Temple. I'm Uncle Solomon. It's so good to be with you today. I hope you're doing very well. Please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go and click subscribe immediately. And do not forget also to share the videos and also click on the notification button so you can get notified anytime I come on. If you're interested in trying to see how you can generate some extra money by creating content, or you've been creating content but not generating some money, a lot of people struggle with that because their content has not been able to draw the views and the subscribers that you need for you to be able to make money from YouTube. Indeed, so many people are making money from YouTube, by creating content, but you need to know how to do that. So I offer mentorship and training. If you're interested, please reach out to me using the number on the screen. One of the biggest church movement in the last maybe 20, 30 years is the Hillsong Church. The Hillsong Church started in Sydney, in Australia. I've been there so many years ago. I was in Sydney. I actually went to Melbourne for the Commonwealth Games. I got a friend in Sydney, so I flew to Sydney to be with him for some time. And I actually went to Hillsong Church just to see it, It became a very big movement, first through the music that they had created then. And the music spread all across the world, sang in so many different languages in so many different churches. And that in itself, the church led by and started actually by this couple, Brian Houston and Bobby Houston, his wife, became a huge movement. Now, I've listened to Brian Houston a couple of times when he came to South Africa to speak and all of that. And through their music and just through the church grew, and they planted churches all over. They have a couple in South Africa, they have a couple in the UK, in Ukraine, and in the US, they had 16 in New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Dallas, all across the US. But then in 2020, there was a big scandal that occurred. The first church they planted, Hillsong Church, they planted in the US, in New York, led by a guy called Carl Lenz. He got involved in a lot of adultery and also leadership abuse. Now, that church in New York was massive. A lot of celebrities, musicians, basketballers, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez. That's the church they used to attend. And he was exposed for cheating on his wife, going and having a girlfriend outside of the church, and also sort of like abusing some other people within the church. And that was the beginning of the end for Hillsong Church in the US. So from 16 churches in the US, now they're down to 5. It lost 11. And it got me thinking, just maybe God didn't call them to plant churches all across like that. And then some of you will be arguing and saying, Solomon, but we're called to plant churches. Are we called to plant churches? Because you can plant the church, but are you saving souls and making disciples? Or you're just creating a brand that is just attractive to the culture? And that's the danger of the churches that we have today. So In this news that came out recently, Hillsong Church has announced that the number of campuses in the USA, as the number of branches, has now dropped to just 5. During the broadcast on Sunday, which is last Sunday, Global Senior Pastor Hill Dooley and Hillsong, California. Hill Dooley actually was the one that started the Hillsong Church in Cape Town. And California-led Pastor Sam Lopez shared that Hillsong San Francisco will be separating from the church network and will operate independently under a new name, which will be revealed next week. You know, when I see something like this, it got me thinking, because their leader, Brian Houston, about 2 years ago, he had to step down as the global leader, global pastor, the chairman of Hillsong, because he was involved in some, he got drunk, he went to a room that there's another woman in, he said he was involved with another woman, and now he's been kicked out. I feel the situation of Hillsong, right, is a case of running a church as a business, as a company. So you got this Hillsong music brand that is doing great, blessing people all over. So now you decided to use that, because anywhere you go to, you're known. So you could go to Nairobi and plant a Hillsong church in those days, and your first service, you're probably going to have 1,000 people or more. And that's what's been happening. First, I want to share 2 things here. First is, a lot of churches are built as a brand, as an enterprise, as a company, as a limited liability company. It's built as an empire. Let's expand the empire. From Hillsong Music, let's expand the empire. Now, the Bible gives us a commandment, in Matthew 28. We should go into the world and preach the gospel. Some people will say, we need to plant churches. Yes, we need to plant churches. But what sort of churches are we planting? Are we discipling people? Or are we just planting churches because we want to build an empire? We want to meet in this huge auditorium, 7,000 people every Sunday, great music, great lights, celebrities are coming, great offering. We preach messages that are just feel-good messages for people. And for me, I feel Hillsong fell victim to that. I right from the time I got in contact with Hillsong, I don't really see myself being somebody that will go to Hillsong every Sunday. No, I'm not looking for that kind of teaching, motivational. I'm looking at making disciple, and look at how scandalous it became. I'm not saying people don't make their individual decisions. But you see, first in 2020, we had the scandal of Carl Lenz, Pastor Carl Lenz, who led Hillsong in New York, where he was in an adulterous relationship. And just a few years later, Brian Houston was accused of the same thing and also abusing alcohol. So it left me with a question whether that is actually a culture within the Hillsong leadership. Because a lot of this building a huge empire, it's like we're doing this whole same thing that the businesses are doing. Let's just have branches. Let's just have outlets. Let's just create a franchise. And that's what a lot of churches are doing. They're not creating church branches. They're creating franchise. And they see people as customers. And they share to people the things that customers would want to hear, not what God wants them to hear or God wants us to tell them. And my second thought is this. Guys, we're in an era where a lot of these churches that are led by pastors who are leading the church like CEOs, a lot of them are beginning to be exposed from the leadership level because of how immoral and corrupt they have become. You know, it just got me thinking of the church trying to remember the Stephen Furtick. Is it Stephen Furtick, right? I honestly consider him one of those guys who adopted the model of running a church as a CEO. It's like, I'm trying to push my books. I'm trying to make sure I'm popular. I trend, bring the music so the music becomes tight, and it has nothing or very less to do with discipleship. And if you go to churches like that, the mess that kind of church is in, I'm sorry to say that, the leadership and the corruption that's in the church, you'll be shocked. So when it comes crashing like Hillsong, you begin to wonder, and some people will begin to say, now Satan is attacking Hillsong. Satan has nothing to do with this thing sometimes, guys. Fact is, Satan is always going to be hovering around. We know that. But we let him. That's what happened. They let him. It can happen to anyone. Once we begin to lose focus of the truth. So we are in an era now where a lot of these churches are going to begin to crumble. A lot of these empires actually are going to begin to crumble. That's what we're going to see. Because the last 20, 30 years, we've created that culture. To be honest with you, a lot of churches that planted branches all over, God never told them to plant and start branches all over. It's just because they want to conquer and expand their empire. That's what it is. They will say, no, God told me, my prayer, God told me we should go and start a church. You go to start. It's rubbish. They just want to go in there and conquer and expand their empire, expand their influence. So we're in an era right now where God is not interested in the number of branches that you have. God is not interested in the number of people that attend your Sunday service, or how big your church is, how beautiful it looks, how many cars you park in the parking lot, how popular you are on TV, how many millions of people follow you on social media. That era is gone, guys. Unfortunately, there are people that are craving for that era. So, when a pastor becomes a brand, that's big trouble. Have you noticed that some pastors actually have their own logo? Guys, that's a fearful place to be. You will say, Solomon, but they have to have their own logo. And guys, you see, if you're following Jesus humbly and if you hear the voice, you would stay away from all of that. You see all these things, you see a billboard of a church, and then you see the pastor's photo on it. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that at all. You're building an idol. Or you see a TV program of a pastor and then his pictures all over going round and round. I would be afraid. If I was a pastor, in that sense, I will tell them, please, no. And I think one person that got it right is Rick Warren, the author of Saddle, the pastor of founding pastor of Saddleback Baptist Church, and a big church in the U.S., and also the author of the Purpose Driven Life. Their church do not advertise. They don't go and get a slot on TV, on the radio to advertise. They don't do that. They don't do that. There are some great pastors who started very well, especially across Africa or even in America. And then they adopted this model and they sold this model to them as a model of church growth without knowing that this is danger. They adopted it, started running their church as a business. They totally forgot about people. As a church, as a pastor, your business is people, not more branches, not more filling the hall, fill up the hall and building big edifice. So we forgot about people. Now it's about the brand. It's about how much money is going to come in. It's about how popular I am, so they can invite me here, there. I can go to that pulpit, that pulpit. It's about how many million subscribers do I have on YouTube. The time has come. We're just like the Tower of Babel. It's going to be a collapse. Unfortunately, the African church has adopted a lot of these models also. So you're seeing Hillsong is not even the end. Hillsong is going. It's going to the minimal level. That's what it is. And you know what? All the scandal with Hillsong gave the church a bad name. It has exposed the fact that how we lead church, how we do church, how we run churches is very flawed. May God forgive us. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Have a good day.